On today's episode, I'm going to take a look at my 4 tier 1 stocks for 2021. And if you guys have been following me, you know for 2020, I had a total of 9 tier 1 stocks. This does not mean I am bearish in some of those stocks that did not make the list. It just means I'm not as bullish. And at the moment, I have no plans of selling my tier 1 stocks of 2020. I'm just not thinking of adding to them as much as I did last year. So this episode is going to be a bit different. I have definitely talked about these 4 companies before. So today I'm gonna pretty much talk about the major risk, how I see them doing in the next 3 to 5 years, and what are some of the things I'm looking out for. So if this is your first time here, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and follow me on Twitch where I live stream taking a look at stocks you want me to look at. So let's get started. And just to show you guys my overall conviction, in January of 2021, so about 2 months ago, I did my previous portfolio update, and these 4 stocks only made up about 14% of my portfolio. Now with the current drop, me buying them a little bit more aggressive, these 4 stocks now make up a quarter of my portfolio, and I do believe in the upcoming days it will continue to increase and maybe even make it up to 1/3 of my total portfolio. And if you guys haven't checked out that episode, I definitely would recommend to look at it next. I pretty much talk about my whole investment strategy there. And for each stock, I am going to do a quick information on them. The first one is going to be Unity. Unity is used to create content. Right now, the main creation being used here is games, but you can also use them in the automotive, transportation, manufacturing. You can use them in the film, animation, cinematics, and also architectures, engineers, and construction can use Unity to kind of show off their projects. Not only are they used to create the games, but they're also in the process after the creation on form of solutions that you might need to implement the game, to advertise the game or advertise the content, to put that content online on different servers on the cloud. Unity helps you with pre-creation, during creation, and post-creation as well. So Unity stock right now is traded under the ticker U in the New York Stock Exchange and is currently sitting at $93.82. It has a market cap of about $25.6 billion, and in the past 6 months from its all-time high, it is down about 45.5%. Definitely a heavy drop. Future growth, analysts expect this company to grow 20.4% on average for the next 3 to 5 years. Unfortunately, this company is not profitable right now, and it doesn't have positive cash flow from operations. So because it doesn't have that, I have to be very strict on their balance sheet. And Unity makes it really easy for me because they have plenty of cash and they have no debt at hand. So it kind of helps me overlook that negativity in earnings for now and that negativity in cash flow from operations. So now let me explain why I am bullish in this company. First, fundamentally, they have strong revenue growth. They have a strong balance sheet. They are expected to be positive in cash flow from operations in the next few years. Current market-wise, their platform is used to create very popular games. Every quarter, it seems like the most popular game is made by Unity. Among Us, Fallout guys, Valheim are some of the ones in most recent quarters. They offer the background service after a game is created, which many people don't talk about. Also, a nice portion of their biggest customers right now are not gaming companies. These are companies in other markets like automobile, like just production size. So right now we can see they're not just a gaming, they're also expanding into other markets. Now let me talk about their future market. Their future market, I believe, is the main reason I am bullish on them. And I think that's why anybody should ever be bullish in a company, the future stuff that they're gonna do. Right now, they can be used in the augmented reality, the virtual reality concept, and that's something I'm super bullish. We have looked at ARK's big ideas, and they mentioned how these 2 markets are going to be one of the biggest driving forces for the next 5 years. They can also be used for robotic automation, something that's, again, continuing to grow market shares. You can use them for training simulations, for product simulations, in the military, gaming, entertainment, advertisement, in e-commerce, in medicine training. So they're so in education. So this overall concept of artificial intelligence, of augmented reality and virtual reality is something that can grow in the upcoming years, and Unity is gonna be one of the companies that's gonna gain a lot of traction from that. Some of the major risks, right? There are risks in buying some of these companies. Right now, they are not profitable. They are not positive in cash flow from operations. I do believe this stock is going to be very, very volatile, and they have some major competitions in the market. One is Epic Games, which is owned by Epic, the creators of Fortnite, and they're also owned by Tencent. So there's some big players out there. And now let me talk about the next 5 years. I do believe Unity is going to be a volatile stock for me. For me, compared to my other stocks that I have in this, is going to be a medium risk. In the next 5 years, I could see this being a 3 to 5x for me at the current price. The second stock we're going to take a look at is Nvidia, and I don't know why. This should have been my number one stock because this is probably the stock I am the most bullish on. So Nvidia pretty much creates graphics cards. This is something that is used to run the world. Honestly, to run the world. Anything you need to do right now is most likely being affected one way or another by a GPU. I mean, they're everywhere. They're in gaming, they're in content creation, they're in artificial intelligence, in machine learning, in data centers, in autonomous vehicles, in autonomous anything. So they are hitting every single market out there, every market that we can see growing in the next few years. So Nvidia is traded in the Nasdaq as ticker NVDA. It's currently sitting at $498, and in the past 6 months, it is down about 19% from its all-time highs. It currently has a market cap of $309 billion, and this is probably my biggest market cap value in my tier 1 portfolio. And it's pretty crazy. I feel like how certain people feel about Tesla being the future, that's how I feel about Nvidia. Now let's take a look at their future growth. Analysts expect 13.9% annual revenue growth for the next 3 to 5 years. They are positive in earnings and they are positive in cash flow from operations. Even though they're doing great in all that, they also have a very strong balance sheet. They have plenty of cash at hands compared to debt, so their balance sheet looks amazing. So now let me talk about why am I bullish in the company. Fundamentally, we saw strong revenue growth for such a big company. We're seeing a strong balance sheet. They're positive in earnings. They're positive in cash flow from operations. Current market-wise, they are the leaders in the GPU market. Obviously, they have some competitors, but I don't believe AMD has yet come to take market share in the data center realm. Obviously, in the gaming, yes, AMD definitely has some competition there. And let me say, I am an AMD bull. AMD is actually my number one position. And that's just because of the gains it has accumulated throughout my portfolio. But I am kind of changing stance now. AMD, I do believe NVIDIA is the true future. Like I mentioned, GPUs affect almost all parts of our technology one way or another. In the future market, GPUs are expected to become the leader components in most big tech. They are gonna overturn, if they're not doing already, the CPU, for example. In big tech like artificial intelligence, machine learning, virtual reality, augmented reality, blockchain, fintech, data center, autonomous driving, in the health market as well. The future market for GPUs is insane. Like I said, what's that company that owned Terminator? This is like that company. They can become them in the future. Major risks. The major risk I would say is competitions. Not only competitions from AMD or Intel, which are their normal ones, right? Even though Intel is mainly in the CPU market, they're also kind of entering the GPU market. Some other competitions are Google and Amazon. Google, for example, has created TPUs, which are Tensor Processor Units, and these are expected to be the huge units to grow in the clouding market. So even though they are not GPUs, they can come in and take some of the market shares. Amazon are also creating some of their own AI, artificial intelligence chips. So they have some major competition out there. In the next 5 years, compared to all my tier 1 stocks, I believe Nvidia is going to be the one with the lowest volatility because it has already made a name for itself. I also believe it might be the lowest grower out of all of them, somewhere between a 2 to 3x in the next 3 to 5 years, in the next 5 years. But I also believe it's one of my lowest risk. All right, so the third company we're gonna take a look at is Cerence. Cerence is pretty much in the artificial intelligence in the voice mobility world. They're a pretty big player in the OEM automobile industry. They kind of help OEMs create their own voice assistant. Cerence is traded under the Nasdaq as ticker CRNC. In the past 6 months, this stock is down about 32% from its all-time highs. It is up a nice amount though for the past 6 months. It's up over 80%. Currently, it has a market cap of about 3.4 billion. As you can see, this is the smallest company I am talking about right now. A good place to learn more about them is their YouTube channel. They make super short videos, like 2-3 minute videos explaining some of the products they have. So you can learn a lot about the company in less than 30 minutes by just watching some of these videos. Future growth analysts expect this company to grow 16% on average for the next 3 to 5 years. They are profitable and they do have positive in cash flow from operations. We can see revenue is still in a nice uptick. It didn't get too much affected during COVID situations. The main things getting affected were their earnings. Then if we take a look at their balance sheet, they are pretty well. They have strong cash compared to debt, but remember, they were also profitable and they also have positive cash flow from operations. Why am I bullish on this company? Fundamentally, strong revenue growth. They have a strong balance sheet. They are positive in earnings and positive in cash flow from operations. So they're a growth company that has already made a strong name for itself fundamentally. Current market-wise, they are the leaders in this space. They are working with almost all OEM companies, and over 50% of the cars shipped have some form of Saren's technology in it. In the future market, I do believe cars are getting smarter, and this is not going to stop. Saren's is going to continue to grab market shares. They're also hitting new types of markets. This artificial intelligence voice assistant is something. They're now entering the elevator market. They're also entering the two-wheeler market. So I do believe this is just the beginning for what their artificial intelligence voice technology can do. I mean, imagine if later on they start to create a platform for software and people start to create their own voice assistants in their applications via Saren's products. Some of the major risks. One of the major risks I would say is that there are some competitions in big players right now. So Google, Amazon are some entering this voice assistant world. The reason I am not too worried about them is many OEMs allow multiple assistants, right? Some people might not like using Google or Amazon Assistant and they just rather use the OEM assistant. And their OEM voice assistants are usually powered by Saren's. In the next 5 years, I do believe this is going to be my highest volatility stock. It's going to be the one that's going to be moving all over the place. But if they execute very well, I do believe this can also be my biggest winner of all. At the same time, because it could be my biggest winner of all, it is also the one I consider my highest risk. The final stock is Sea Limited, and Sea Limited, if you guys don't know, they hit 3 main markets. They hit the digital entertainment, the gaming market, they hit the e-commerce, they hit the fintech market. Sea Limited right now is traded under the New York Stock Exchange as ticker SE. Currently, in the past 6 months, it is down about 18% from its all-time highs, and it has a market cap of about $116 billion. Sea Limited is expected to grow 25.6% on average for the next 3 to 5 years. They are positive in cash flow from operations right now, but they are not positive in earnings. If we take a look at their balance sheet looks super healthy. They have plenty of cash compared to debt. Why am I bullish in this company? Fundamentally, strong revenue growth. They have a strong balance sheet and they have positive cash flow from operations. Current market-wise, the main reason they have positive cash flow from operations is because they have this gaming aspect. This gaming aspect allows them to be positive in cash flow from operation and allows them to be super aggressive in the e-commerce business. In the past year, they have seen a huge increase in gross transaction values for their fintech and in gross market value for their e-commerce. And they're still seeing crazy growth in the gaming world. Right now, they pretty much only have one strong IP. This is Free Fire, but one IP is all you need to milk the gaming world. Just ask Blizzard. Future market, I'm super bullish because they just announced capital acquisitions. They're going to start buying other companies to continue to grow. I feel like some people might be worried about this because they might be worried, hey, Sea is no longer going to start creating stuff. They're just going to start buying technology. And I don't believe that's the case. I think they are very well at doing multiple things at once. So they're still going to continue to develop their own stuff, but are also going to be buying products or companies in great markets to help fuel their company. And one perfect example is they are just starting the artificial labs, and they have this renowned scientist working as the chief engineer there. They're also continuing to expand into other markets, into other regions, and the overall gaming growth as well. Some of the major risk is competition. Some people can say, right, they are trying to hit so many concepts or so many different markets at once, the gaming, the fintech, the e-commerce, that it can be difficult to manage, especially as they continue to grow. They are negative in earnings, and even though I mentioned that a single IP can be super strong and it's all they need, if this single IP in the gaming world doesn't really develop much, they could be in a lot of trouble. In the next 5 years, I do believe this is going to be a volatile stock. Volatility probably similar to Unity. I do believe in the next 5 years, this can 3x for me at least. And compare right now based on fundamentals, based on current markets, I do believe this is also a medium risk. I would put this risk level compared to Unity. And as you can see, right, I had pretty much two medium risk companies. That was Unity and C Limited. I had one of a lower risk that I considered, which was Nvidia, and then I had one of a higher risk, and that was Serene. So I'm kind of hitting everything in volatility. I do believe because of these stocks, my portfolio is going to be very, very volatile. But emotionally, I'm prepared. I have taken out all emotions out of this game. So even if my portfolio goes up and down, I'm not gonna have weak hands. Weak hands work both in an uptrend and in a downtrend. I'm not gonna sell winners. I'm not gonna sell any of these losers unless things change fundamentally. A company can change over time, and as an investor, I also need to adapt with those changes. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Take care, have a good night, and see you next time.